So the way that we got into this whole thing was we were actually attending PAX, Penny Arcade Expo, out in Seattle for a couple of years, 2007, 8, 9. And when we go to PAX, the cool thing was is that you were surrounded by 30 to 50,000 people that were into the same stuff that you were, right? So as you were sitting there at a cheesecake factory across the street from the convention center, right, you'd pull out your DS and you'd have 8 people waiting to play Mario Kart with you. You didn't know where they were. They were in the restaurant someplace, right? But they wanted to play games. And you'd go back to your hotel at night and you'd find people playing tabletop, just sitting in the lobby of the hotel. And you could sit down and ask what game they were playing, and they'd show you how to play. And it was such a cool experience to be around all these people that you knew they were into the same things you were. You didn't maybe know where to find these people on a day-to-day basis, but this was something that brought them all together. So when we were looking to open up this place, we thought, how can we take a small piece of that home with us? Milwaukee obviously has a very strong drinking culture, so we have a lot of bars and that sort of thing. So we thought that was a great sort of venue in order to pull this together, where we could create a space where you can walk into this bar, you can sit down at a bar stool, and you can make friends with the person next to you over common interests. You can start talking about Star Wars or StarCraft, or you can start talking about Lord of the Rings, and nobody's going to judge you or think that you're weird for it, and hopefully at the end of the day you make a new friend out of it. So that was kind of what caused us to start this, and so far, I mean, it's early on for us, but we're getting that response from it, and we're really excited about that.
Tony came up with the idea. Tony's always been the idea guy, and we were standing in line when he came up with this idea, and we were in a convention center like twice the size of the one that we have here in Milwaukee. And I thought he was nuts. I thought this would never work. There would never be any kind of, way of doing this. And it wasn't until about a year later when we started seeing in other parts of the world there are other bars that do this, and we were starting to see that be successful, that I thought, okay, now I think we can actually do this and, actually be successful at it. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that it was not like an idea that all of a sudden bloomed into this perfect, example of what we were going to, come up with. We ran into problems at every single step of the way. This is not something that is by any means easy, and I think at every single step, Tony kept telling me, well, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And we ran into problems with the space. We originally wanted to be out in downtown Waukesha with a 4,300 square foot location. We wanted a restaurant, full service restaurant in it. We wanted to be able to provide kind of like the full experience, and that fell through because the landlords were jerks, just to kind of sum it up. I mean, I won't go into every detail about it.
First guy comes up and he says, well, he's like, I live in the condos across the street. He's like, noise has been a problem at this location before. He said, but actually, after hearing what they want to do at the place, I don't really have a problem with it. He's like, in fact, I'm an engineer, and I think I want to go there. So, and the second guy came up, and he wasn't quite as enthusiastic, but he said about the same thing. And so that was kind of a really funny thing for us, and it ended up showing on the license that instead of having 2 people in opposition to our license, we had 2 people for our license. Well, I'm definitely the nerdier out of the 2 of us. I still have my day job. Lynn runs this place full time. My day job, I'm a systems administrator, so I have a degree in computer science. I taught at a local technical college. I used to teach CCNA classes as like a side job. So, I've been kind of in that industry for a while. I did collect comic books as a kid. I was kind of like that whole point where like Image Comics first came out, and like Spawn was really popular and Max was really popular. Like I was doing a lot of comic book stuff back then. I still have them all. I haven't gotten Lynn to read all of them yet, but my favorite one actually I got Lynn into is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, which is not for everybody, but I love that. I love that series. It's a dark humor, but it's hilarious. So I'm definitely a gamer. My grandfather bought me my first Nintendo at the age of like 5. No, it must have been younger than that. It was about, because I was born in '82, and that was like '84, '85 in there that I got that. So I was pretty young. And he used to play games with me, and my mother, I think, always regretted him buying that for me. But at this point, I guess it kind of worked out, because that was part of what drove me this direction. I'm more of a PC gamer these days than a console gamer. A lot of my friends did the console thing, and I was into that again for a while, Xbox, PlayStation, but now I've kind of gone back to PC again. So I'm a StarCraft guy and Battlefield 3 and that sort of thing. I'm slowly starting to get back into consoles now that we have a bunch of them here, but see, other nerdy stuff. I'm more of a fantasy guy than a sci-fi guy too. Like I'm into Star Wars, but like I'm more of a Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing. I know you probably can't hear, but Lynn's criticizing me over here. I played Star Wars CCG for a while, right, which used to be published by Decipher before Decipher got bought like 4 different times and went bankrupt. And that had a lot of lore and stuff like that. So I know a lot about Star Wars from that card game.
So I have to ask, are you excited about Disney like releasing one Star Wars movie every single year? Do you think it's going to be as bad as the prequels, or do you think that they have a chance to get a little better?
The prequels were pretty bad, weren't they? It's sad, too, because I dressed up in line and everything like that for the prequels, and I sat out there, with my lightsaber, my Jedi cloak, and all that kind of stuff, and then I was horribly disappointed by the product, and I was actually slightly embarrassed that I went to such lengths for such a crappy movie. But I think it's encouraging that they've got J.J. Abrams on board, right? I mean, so I was never really a big Star Trek guy. I was always more of a Star Wars guy, but I saw the remake of, Star Trek, the relaunch here, and that was awesome. So I guess that's really encouraging for me that they've got that going for them. And I want to think that means that they're taking it very seriously, right? So we'll see what happens with it. Disney obviously has a lot of resources, and I guess I'm hoping that they're interested in using the license to push things along a little bit, where Lucas, I don't know that he really had a vision for where things were going anymore, right? Like, he just was, like, making money and kind of trying to pump product out for the sake of pumping out product. So I'm hoping that Disney brings in some new creative talent and they actually push it in a positive direction.
Yeah, I'm more of a Ren Fair person. If I had more money, I would love to do cosplay. I mean, more money, more time, better sewing skills, all of those things. I would love to do more of that. I have a little bit of history with video games. My parents, bought me a PC when I was pretty young, and I played Commander Keen through to the end. I don't know how many hundreds of times, and, shot slugs in the head and all of that. But I really wasn't allowed to play games. I was a very overprotected only child, and my parents didn't really believe in video games. So it wasn't until Tony bought me my first DS and Nintendogs, I was like, well, I missed my dog. I had lost my dog, and I missed my dog. So Tony bought me that as a replacement, and that kind of got me hooked for a little while. And Pokemon, oh my god, I freaking love the heck out of Pokemon. I want to get some Pokemon tournaments going in here so that I can start getting into it and have an excuse to do it. But I'm pretty much, I'll play anything once. I've been suckered into playing Halo a bunch of times, even though I suck terribly at it, and my only goal is to stay alive for more than 30 seconds. But I love the culture. I think that's really where I find my niche in it, is that I love the people and I love the culture, and passionate people, because I know what that's like. This isn't on topic, but you could ask me about how I nerded out over 9 Inch Nails for about 6 or 7 years of my life, and the collection of things that I have dealing with that. So I understand what it is to be a collector and to want to get every single piece of something. So